Welcome, everybody, to the inaugural episode of the Liverpool versus Manchester United podcast. My name is Kyle McFarland. With me, as always, is Blake Leibson.
How you doing, everyone?
And this is it. This is it. We're doing this podcast. We are American, if you couldn't tell already, but we wanted to start a podcast and talk about our favorite clubs. Soccer's getting real big in the United States now, and especially with the Premier League, with all the money that's involved there coming over here. So, kind of just wanted to talk about what we're interested in, why we started following the clubs, what we like about the clubs, how they're doing, and we're gonna get started. This is the first one, so bear with us. We're gonna work out the kinks, and then we're gonna get this thing rolling. So, first off, we'll talk a little bit about ourselves. So, Blake, if you want to go first, feel free, man.
All right. My name is Blake, and I am the Manchester United fan. Kyle is the Liverpool fan. And it was just kind of a coincidence that we liked two teams that have a pretty big rivalry, and that kind of brought our liking for soccer even more. So, we're going to start out today just how we got started in the world of soccer. And for me, I played soccer from ages 3 to 18. So I'm now 23, kind of play pickup soccer.
You're getting old, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy to think that I started soccer 20 years ago playing and probably have been liking Manchester United for at least 10 years. So what I got started in the whole club I started was a lot of English and Irish coaches. So they had their teams they liked, and for the most part, all my coaches liked Manchester United. And the funny thing is, we as a club wore the same colors as Manchester United, mostly red, black, and white.
What was the name of your club?
Beach FC.
Beach FC. Okay.
So,
okay.
Not a huge club, but it's kind of East Coast, and
they have different age groups, don't they?
yeah, we are U10 to U18.
Yeah.
So with Beach FC, I won one state title in the States here, and went to regionals and came in second. We went up to Maine, came in second in that tournament. So that's pretty much the biggest stage I've been on in the soccer world. And
so essentially, being that was such a milestone moment in your life, right? Like, you know, you're playing soccer, you're growing up, you're learning the sport, and then you're falling in love with it, and then to have like, I guess your role model at the time, right? Your coach, or maybe someone you looked up to, like in Manchester United. Would you say that was the overall, or the end game? Like, hey, this is the club I'm going to go with, or
right? Yeah. And the coach called me Giggsy.
Giggsy.
So it was the Giggs Scholes era. Manchester United had Sir Alex Ferguson, of course, and if I didn't have a game that weekend, I'd be watching Manchester United here around 7:30 a.m., maybe 10 o'clock.
Yeah, when they come on, you know.
Yep, early games here. But really just stayed loyal to Man United and never really looked back. Just stuck with the club. I've always stayed with Beach FC. Always liked Man United. After that, coach got me persuaded, and I've enjoyed being a fan ever since. And now Kyle's going to tell you more of his Liverpool story.
Well, hell yeah, man. Well, we appreciate you telling or talking about, you know, Manchester United. Everyone knows it's. I mean, it's. What would you say? It's probably the biggest club in the world, or as far as maybe name-wise. Like if you say Manchester United, you're like, oh, everyone knows that's a soccer team.
Easily top 5.
Easily.
Probably
easily.
Top 3 to be safe.
Probably.
Or
yeah, maybe Barcelona.
Barcelona, Real Madrid have been taken over with their rivalry and
recently,
success. But I think Man United will hopefully remain up there, even if they haven't been going too well in the Champions League. But they've stayed top of their league for the most part.
Yeah. And I don't kind of snowballing off that, and the season they had. We'll get to that in a minute, but um, going. I'm Kyle, by the way. Just a reminder to everyone who forgot. Um, so yeah, Liverpool. Big history, big club. I think all followers of Premier League soccer know that. Um, and when I was growing up, I played a little bit of soccer. I played when I was like 5 years old. I think I played from 5 to 8. Um, and I was always an athletic kid, but I never really gravitated towards that sport. My sports were always basketball and baseball, but that didn't stop me from liking the sport.
Which I chose to go away from basketball and baseball, and I
Yeah,
went towards soccer.
that's right. That's right. It always balanced it out. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And you played wing, right? You were a winger,
Yeah, I was
like a winger or forward.
outside mid, forward, depending on the team,
Yeah.
depending what we were going for that game.
Right. Right. Yeah. So yeah, but going back to Liverpool, I got some family members that are really big into the club now. It's funny. It's actually funny. So I remember the first time I played FIFA, right? And this was back. This is actually pretty recently, but um, it was what's his name? Ricky Lambert was the striker for Liverpool, and then you had Raheem Sterling, Fabio Barini, and a few other players. And so my cousin, who likes Liverpool a lot, he was telling me, look up this kid Raheem Sterling. He's 18 years old. His Instagram is like, he's a baller, right? And I was like, all right, I'll look this up. And so I looked him up. And anyway, that doesn't really matter for the story. But going on, um, you know, we started playing with Liverpool online for FIFA a lot. And to be honest, man, sometimes if you guys can relate, sometimes it happens with something where you absolutely fall in love with, like, whether it's a club or a person or a hobby or whatever it may be. For me, this case was just Liverpool Football Club. So um, this was probably around 2014, 2015. So right after the Suarez year, right after he left. So I didn't. I mean, I know about all that, but as far as following the team, that's when I started following them. Listening to podcasts, watching games, getting news, and I guess I fell in love with the club around then, and it stuck with me. The culture, I mean, everyone knows the cop, the Gerard, you know, just the history surrounding the club is what I really like about it. There's a culture there. It's not just a club. It's not just a team. It's a way of life over there. And I'd love to go someday. I've never been to Europe. Have you been to Europe before?
I have not, but
Yeah.
the first time we go will be to a Manchester United and Liverpool game.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Don't know if it'll be Anfield or Old Trafford, but
Yeah, either
doesn't
or.
matter.
Either or. Yeah,
They're
I'll
both
take
great.
honestly, and that's what I heard about going over to Europe as far as Americans go. Like Old Trafford's like the touristy spot. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I would love to go to Anfield, but
Both great environments, great fans, loyal fans, and passionate about their team.
yeah, exactly. And I think that's the biggest thing is that not only that, but they're huge rivalries. Like, in the rivalry has started. I mean, it's been a rivalry since Sir Alex Ferguson came in and like transformed your club. I mean,
Right.
he took over and he. What did you guys have? Like, what was it? It was like How long was he a coach and what did you win? I mean,
He just made us the club we are today. He made everyone's job easier now because the way he set up the whole club, the way all the fans got in here, just how big the club is can be all thank you to Sir Alex Ferguson.
yeah, and he's had some health issues recently.
He has.
Best wishes,
He's
to him. He's better now, but
definitely likes his privacy on that situation, but I think he's fine, and I'm sure we'll see him out in the crowd sometime soon, maybe tomorrow for the FA Cup game
yeah,
against Chelsea.
yeah. And that's a good transition into what we'll be talking about next is like current states of each team. So, going into it, let's talk about Man United. Good season coming off of last season, finishing sixth last year, and second this year, dropping out of the Champions League. Yeah, yeah. And I don't know what it is, man. I can't stand Mourinho, and I don't know if it's because of his arrogance, but I mean, the guy he's got a great coaching history. There's no doubting that. He's an excellent coach. He gets the job done. But, I mean, as a fan, how do you see, compared to last season, how do you see the changes this season? Do you think it's good? Do you think the attitude towards the players have changed? What's going through your head as the final approaches tomorrow?
Well, first off, I'm not a Mourinho fan either, but the club has looked better than last year, even though there has been a decent amount of games where it's hard to see anything going forward. It's hard to see that creativity, the passion to want to go score. But Man United keeps getting the players they need, and Alexis Sanchez, Pogba, Lukaku, all pretty new to the club.
Yeah,
and
that's true. That's true. Yeah.
They're all great players. I don't know if it's them necessarily not working so well together, or it's just Mourinho not really putting them in a situation where they just can't work well together.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, look as far as talent goes. Like your talent's there, right? I mean, Pogba, like coming out of Juventus, he was without a doubt, like at the time, like the best player in the world. And from my point of view, at least, I think that, and this has been all over, but Mourinho's been playing him too defensive. He doesn't give him the freedom to to go forward, to make runs, to um, be that player he was.
And sometimes I can see that he definitely holds back to go want to score, but he can provide great balls, and he can really, with those long legs, dribble around anyone, get around him.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And he just needs to do more of that because he's successful when he does it.
Yeah, yeah. So Chelsea then, where do you see the weak points there? Where can they be exposed?
Well, Chelsea.
Because we just lost to Chelsea. I mean, it doesn't matter now. We got top four. I'm happy, But I mean, watching that game, like we didn't play particularly well.
Yeah.
But where do you think Chelsea can be exposed?
Chelsea is just a very inconsistent team. They particularly don't work too well together sometimes, and then sometimes they can just score whenever they want to.
Yeah, they do.
I would say
streaky.
For Chelsea standards, they're pretty disappointed in the year they had.
Yeah, coming off the back, winning the league last year, and then,
Yeah, but I think where Manchester United can do well with Chelsea, definitely on the counterattack, which Manchester United has been trying
that's
to
their
do
game.
all year. Yeah.
That's their game.
That's kind of the system they've been put in, and Mourinho, I guess, feels they can sit back a little bit and then counter when the opponent is up in numbers. So I think if Lukaku is fit tomorrow, then that's a big advantage for Manchester United. If not, I can definitely see Chelsea winning in the FA Cup because Rashford has not done well when he's the lone striker up there. He looks lost a lot of the time. He pretty much relies on his speed for everything,
which can be good,
Which he is fast enough to rely on his speed, but sometimes the perfect ball is needed, and if he doesn't make the right run, then game over.
Yeah, I guess if I was the coach of United, what I would be doing, you got your back four. I don't know what formation Mourinho usually runs. If it's like a 4-4-2, or I would obviously keep Martial and Rashford up front as the wings, and then you throw Lukaku in there as kind of like a false nine, kind of how Firmino is, where he comes back in, he creates space, but let Pogba get forward and have, I don't know, maybe who's been playing midfield, Mata, Herrera.
Which probably they won't start.
Yeah,
either
and
of them.
that's crazy. I mean, you got to have a defensive midfielder, like someone to come back and play, especially under Mourinho. But I would.
Matic is probably going to sit in there.
Yeah, no, I completely forgot about Matic. That's an excellent point. Yeah, so what I would do is I would have a 4-3-3. I would have Mata in the middle, Pogba on the right, and then Matic playing as like almost the holding midfielder, like he's coming back to play on defense, and then have the other people, get forward. Because, I mean, Chelsea they just got battered by Leicester, didn't they? It was like 3-1 or something. Or no, Newcastle.
Yeah, 3-0.
3-0. I mean, Chelsea are obviously vulnerable at the back, and Morata's not doing great either this year. They brought in Giroud from Arsenal, which was a very surprising move. I did not expect that at all. But
he just doesn't start too much.
Yeah.
It seems to be the bench move, and I think he's good enough to start, but Chelsea doesn't work too well with him, I guess.
Yeah.
They don't seem to find him too much.
Yeah, and you look at the other players around the Chelsea squad, and it's kind of a dribbling team, and Giroud's not a dribbling player.
Hazard can be responsible for that.
Hazard, Willian, Hazard is the entire team. Yeah. I wonder if he'll leave, but yeah. So I think your plan of attack, then what you're saying is just stick to the game plan, defend, and counterattack. You think get Pogba forward, or what you think he's going to have him do the same exact thing that he's been doing all season?
Well, I wouldn't rely on the counterattack, because if Lukaku's not in there, then it's just going to be Rashford chasing. He'll get tired. And then Martial, who knows if he's going to be in there. I like when he's in there. He had a lot of success at the beginning of the season, and haven't seen him too much recently.
I don't think Mourinho likes him, which is ridiculous. He's amazing.
He just sometimes will have his off games, and then his head's not right. He kind of sulks a little bit, then doesn't get back on defense.
Yeah.
But I like him as a player. He's very hard to take the ball off, and he creates scoring chances for us. So I would like to see him in with Lukaku. Maybe have Rashford come off the bench, because he's that spark.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to contain someone like that when you're 70 minutes in running and
you bring on that speed. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He's fresh. So I would say Alexis is going to be right behind the Lukaku or whoever's going to be the striker. And I think Pogba shouldn't be far behind that, because Pogba is good enough to get back.
Yeah, play defense.
He can run all day.
He's got the stride.
Yeah, he really does.
He really does.
He probably takes 5 less strides to get to the same place.
Yeah. And you've seen before. I can't remember what game it was, but when he gets forward, you guys were losing at halftime against City. It was the City game.
Mm.
You guys were down 1-0 at halftime, I think. And then the second half, it was almost like Mourinho said, Pogba, just don't do anything that I just said.
Right.
Just get forward. And you saw him just run the field. I think he got both goals, didn't he?
I don't really remember if it was 3-2.
Or if it was 2-1 or 3-2.
Right.
Maybe we were down 1-1 at halftime. I can't remember the exact score. I just remember that Pogba was getting forward. He got into the box. He had a nice header.
He was freed.
Yeah, he was freed. Yeah, he wasn't restricted. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good game. I'm thinking it might come down to the final 10-15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Someone gets a late goal. But I also could see it being 0-0 the entire game.
You think? Yeah, very. Everyone's nervy. It's the final. No one wants to mess up. Yeah. So score prediction.
Is Lukaku in there or not? That's the thing.
Why would he not start Lukaku? I don't see
his injury.
What's going on with him? What's he got?
I think in the last Premier League game, 2 or 3 Premier League games ago, something with his leg, maybe foot. But I would say,
do you think he starts then? Or
if he starts, which it's going to be a game time decision, I will say I'll go with the score of 2-1.
2-1 United?
2-1 United.
I could get behind that. I mean, obviously, you know, it's just crazy at United that if you win the FA Cup and finish second, Mourinho will probably still get criticized, you know.
Yeah.
And if you took that season, you put it at Liverpool, second in the league, FA Cup. Granted, we haven't won a trophy since 2007 or 2006. FA Cup 2006. I mean,
Hmm.
or no, League Cup in 2011 or 12 against Cardiff. But I don't even count that. That
Right.
doesn't even matter. So
As you shouldn't.
yeah, I mean, it's just it's a successful year, So
Yeah.
yeah, so
That's
going
the thing with Mourinho. It's
yeah,
just it's hard to win United fans over.
and United as a whole,
Right.
like the whole organization, and so yeah, so now I mean, guess who else is in a final?
I think that'd be your team.
That's right, that's right, and God damn, they've worked hard to get there, man. I mean, you see how Klopp has, just from my point of view, because when I came in and started following him, you have Brendan Rodgers, he was still an attack-minded guy, but he was playing three at the back with two wings or two wing backs, and Klopp comes in and just the system, the pressing, the high intensity, the fitness that these players are in it's ridiculous. And every game they go out and give 110%, and they're buying into it,
Right. Here's what I'm going to say about Liverpool. I watched on the final game of the Premier League this season. On my TV, I had the Man United game. On my laptop, I had Liverpool. I was struggling to watch Man United, honestly, and I kept wanting to watch a Liverpool game because they're just an exciting team to watch. They click. Everything works well for them, even if it's not working that particular game.
Yeah.
And Man United, they don't want to go score goals all the time, it looks like.
Yeah, and it's almost opposite types of football, or soccer, I guess you could say, or whatever. That's gonna happen. That's gonna slip.
Yeah, sorry about the soccer word.
Soccer, football. It's the American viewpoint, okay? So,
give us a break on that one.
Yeah, give us a break. I just Liverpool. I mean, there's countless times this season where we'll win the ball back in our final third, right? And I don't know, say Lovren wins it back or Wijnaldum or whoever's back there at the time. Within 5 seconds, we're on the other end of the field taking a shot. I mean, the counterattack is so quick. The pressure is so intense. I mean, if we lose the ball, we're winning it back within 5 seconds. And I don't think Madrid and I don't think any of the teams we've played in the Champions League are used to that at all. And that's why we've been so successful. I mean,
front three works so well together.
Yeah, and it's almost like you take a Madrid team where the prestige has got to stand for something, right? Like if you were on a team and you played Madrid, you're going to be like, oh shit, this is Madrid. Like it's going to be in your head. But I feel like that affects your play, your mental toughness on the field. Whereas so they can play their way. They're never going to change. They're going to keep playing their way. But if you come up against a club like Liverpool, where they're going to play their way, they're going to press you. They're going to make you make quick decisions. They're not going to let you dribble and keep possession. Madrid are going to have issues, I think. I think the only thing we're vulnerable on, and we've been vulnerable on the entire season, is the counterattack, and our defense can be iffy. But since Van Dijk has come in, it looks a lot more better, and I feel more better. That's terrible English.
I was gonna call you on.
Yeah. I just feel way more confident.
The interesting thing will be if it's more of a Liverpool style or Real Madrid style in the final.
In the game,
Who kind of caves the who's style.
Yeah.
That could be the deciding factor.
I just guarantee the first 10 minutes of the game is going to be like just so sloppy.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty bad for both teams. More Liverpool because they're just going to
getting the nerves out.
From the start.
Yeah.
And Real Madrid's like, it's just another Champions League final.
Right. I mean, of course I'm imagining it. I just don't want to say or talk about potentially winning it. Like, all I want to do is talk about the game itself, but the first 10, 15 minutes, everyone's going to be all over the place. There's not going to be a rhythm to the game. The ball will probably be in the air a lot. Possession's not going to be. It's probably going to be back and forth until a team finds a rhythm, whether it's us or whether it's Madrid. And to be honest with you, I haven't watched Madrid a lot this season. Just some highlights, but I know that when Liverpool get in a rhythm, that we keep possession and we hold possession and create chances every second. Like we miss a shot, they clear it, we get the ball back, and we're at it again. And I mean, I can see it where if we get a 10-minute window where we're just creating chance after chance after chance, and we get a goal, all right. In the past, we've been known to kind of just like be like, okay, we finally got a goal, let's ease up. But you saw against City, you saw against um, Roma in the semifinal. Once we got that goal, we kept going. There wasn't stopping. And I think if we can do that and we get 1, 2, 3 goals, we'll win it. You know, and it's just we get
Don't have
hot.
to worry about a second leg.
Yeah, that's the thing. But that's also where I'm nervous. Is what if we don't get in a rhythm and we have a game like Chelsea, where we played horrible that game. And I don't know if it was the hangover from, the semifinal or whatever, but I mean, we were creating chances, but it almost looked like we were practicing. I don't know.
The good news is, from what I've seen in the Champions League at least, Real Madrid hasn't looked their best this year.
Mm-hmm.
They've kind of been on the edge twice. I believe it was Juventus and Bayern.
Yeah.
Both of those, even though they're top 7, at least, those teams, they were on the brink of elimination. And Real Madrid just was able to score or hold off a goal when they needed to.
Yeah, it always seems like that. I mean, but the great teams and all the podcasts I follow and everything I listen to, especially in European football, the great teams find a way to win. Whether it's a penalty or, a last second goal, they just have that mental toughness and that capability to just make it happen, And I think that is the Klopp effect, where since he's come in, where Liverpool lacked that grittiness towards the end of a game, he's instilled it like there's still time. Like even if you're down against Dortmund, you remember that?
Yeah.
The quarterfinals. I mean, we were down. What was it? We were down 3-1 in the second half. 3 goals in. I think we scored the first goal in like the 65th minute, and then the last 3 came within like the last 20 minutes, or the last 2, and I mean it was just that was like the turning point. I just felt like after that we just believed, and then of course we lost the fucking final, but whatever.
It happens.
Yeah, God, and Sturridge's goal though, outside of the foot, you remember that?
Beauty.
Oh my gosh, and then that was his peak. He's gone downhill ever since. Yeah, but yeah. So I'm excited for the final. I'm nervous, but I think good things are to come. And even if we lose the final,
it's a big step.
But at the same time, I'm so worried that it's just going to be such a negative response if we lose the final. I mean,
if it wasn't Real Madrid, then it could be, but
that's a good point.
Everyone knows they're underdogs right now.
That is a good point.
And if they put up a good fight, then everyone would be like, wow, they're playing with the best, pretty much same level.
Yeah.
They just got unlucky, or they
unlucky.
Just couldn't get that last goal in or something like that. But I think they can give Real Madrid a pretty good fight.
Yeah, and I agree with what you said. If it wasn't Madrid, like say, I don't know, if it was someone else, even
like a Roma. I mean,
like a Roma or maybe even Juventus or Bayern or something. Maybe not Bayern, but it's a big club, and Madrid have won it the last 2 years. Yeah.
Dortmund's not quite on that next level either.
If we lose, it's like no one's gonna be like, well, that they're gonna be like, yeah, that was, they lost. It's Madrid. But if we win, it's gonna be nuts. I mean,
and the world's rooting for Liverpool.
Everyone's rooting for Liverpool. I mean, it's European just royalty. You know, I mean, English royalty. I mean, it's an awesome time to be a Liverpool fan. Um,
Very exciting.
Very exciting, and United too. I mean, I feel like as far as coming back, you know, from sixth to second, at least you have Champions League football again next year. So back to back years. You got the Europa League win title, which I mean I still think is good. If you win the Europa League, a lot of people say it's not, but
Atletico just won.
Yeah, I know.
They're a really good team.
Exactly. So I think we're looking again at the top four being Man City, Man United, Liverpool, and who would you throw in that fourth spot for the next few seasons that are just going to be top dogs?
I think Tottenham.
You think Tottenham?
Keep being up there because Harry Kane.
Yeah, we know. No way Arsenal. Arsenal's just no. They just don't have it. They don't.
I forgot
have
about
it.
Arsenal.
I know.
Conversation.
I forgot. They just do not have it. And with Wenger leaving, I mean, that's got to be.
They're gonna have a season like Man United had after Sir Alex left.
Yeah, true. I mean, that's just what I think is going to happen. Or who knows? Maybe they'll just like turn a corner and Aubameyang scores 30 in the league and they win it. But let's hope that doesn't happen.
I mean, that would definitely be unexpected.
But
you know,
given that Pochettino stays and Kane stays, and they spend a decent amount of money to get good players in and keep Lloris, I think you're right. Tottenham are that fourth team. But if Pochettino leaves or Kane leaves, because remember
easily out of the top
easily, and it's probably going to be Chelsea is going to be that next spot. Yeah. But Chelsea and Arsenal are facing the same thing. I think Conte is going to be gone, or at least that's the talk right now. You know, and they're coming off a tough year. I mean, that fourth spot's up for grabs. I think the top three, it's City, United, Liverpool right now, or maybe even you could argue City. I would argue City, Liverpool are the top two, and then Man United's like back and forth, you know?
I'm hoping next year it's Liverpool, Man United top two because I can tolerate Liverpool, Man United, but I don't like Man City at all.
I hate Man City. I cannot stand Man City. Oh my gosh. I mean, I guess they play good football, but I'll just never forget. Every time I look at Pep, I think of this interview that Ibrahimovic did where he was like, "What do you think of Pep?" And then Zlatan goes, "He's not a man." And I was like, wow, this guy must really be a bitch if Zlatan said it.
Zlatan, no lie.
Oh my God, man. And if Zlatan, man, what a legend.
Just Zlatan being in this country right now makes me happier.
I know.
Because he's that kind of guy.
He is. Man. Yeah, so scale of 1 to 10, first podcast. What are you thinking, Blake?
Hopefully our listeners out there will
if anyone ends up listening to the first one. Yeah.
Hopefully a 7 or above.
I think the opening was rough. It's the first 5 minutes. If you can get through that, you're a real person, and I want to meet you.
Yeah, we don't mind if we have some suggestions on topics and stuff like that.
Sure. And again, this is the American viewpoint of the English Premier League, 2 of the top clubs, what we're thinking, what it's like over here, you know, because we obviously don't have that first-person viewpoint of being over in Europe, and the atmosphere is completely different, you know. And here, yes, it's popular. You know, you got the new TV deals with NBC. All the NBC networks have the games on for the most part, and you have, for example, FSG bought Liverpool, Fenway Sports Group, who own the Red Sox. I mean, it's growing over here, but at the same time, if you walk around with a Liverpool or Man United shirt on, people still kind of look at you like, that dude watches soccer, that kind of thing, you know?
They think he must be European because Americans.
Yeah, it's just like,
that.
Yeah, or like, and I think that's the way MLS is like now too. Like, I don't see anyone with MLS stuff on.
I've never seen.
Yeah, I mean,
wear MLS jerseys around.
It's just not big enough yet.
Because if it's not like a Rooney that just came in, or
that's right, yeah.
A Zlatan, or when Beckham was on Galaxy, then a lot of people don't find interest in the MLS.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I think eventually it'll get there. I mean, but the thing is, what do there's the talk of like the international like league where it's like 12 top European teams and then 12 other teams from all over the world in a tournament. There's talk of that. But if you look at the Champions League, that's like the epitome of a good club. The MLS can't get in the Champions League, you know? I
I was
mean,
thinking about that the other day.
it's
You wouldn't see an MLS team in there.
yeah, and they would get smothered. I mean, they would lose terribly. The style of football is different. The goalkeeping in the United States is awful compared to Europe. Like, except for Howard. I mean,
They would
legend.
struggle to get a point in the group stage.
I completely agree with that.
The
But
best MLS team would struggle.
yeah, I'd say I mean, I'd say if you took maybe Galaxy or the Sounders, I think maybe
Atlanta United has had a good year, but
yeah. I mean,
it's hard to see real competition
No.
against them. That's the thing.
I couldn't even name one player on Atlanta or except for Zlatan on LA Galaxy.
Yeah, I mean,
And-
I watched some MLS games,
Yeah.
but it's hard to really remember anyone on the teams, even though it can be exciting because
Yeah,
there is a few more goals per game. Like
that is true. There's a
I
lot.
have
Yeah,
heard it's like 2.7 the average in the MLS compared to 2.4 in the EPL,
right.
which
So
isn't a big difference, but
still a difference. Still a
Right.
difference. I mean, I guess it's the intensity here. Soccer hasn't gained that traction that football, basketball, baseball have. Obviously, I mean it's newer. And the cultural difference is the main thing. It's like we didn't European football. That's the sport. Like that cricket. I mean rugby. I guess you could say. I'm not 100% positive. I just know that soccer is the sport.
right.
But
That's football here, American football.
yeah,
Everyone
everyone
has
loves
a
football.
jersey
Yeah, that's
their team.
exactly. Yeah, and I know we're kind of winding down here, but one thing I do want to say is that the atmospheres for the games in Europe are complete. Like they amaze me compared to like sports here. Like the singing, the noise, the flags, all that stuff. That's another reason why I like Liverpool. Just the dedication from the fans, regardless of what's going on, the singing, the song. I mean, just it's incredible. I mean, sometimes it gives me goosebumps sometimes thinking about just like how dedicated people are. So I think I don't know. I think until MLS grows, I'm gonna keep following Liverpool, man.
And I'll keep following Man United
Yeah.
because it's just not on the same level. Simple as that.
Yeah. So we hope you guys enjoyed first podcast. Hopefully, first of many. And
Let us know what you think.
let us know what you think. Yeah, any suggestions are welcome. And until next time, I'm Kyle McFarland. You'll never walk alone.
I'm Blake Leibstein, and glory, glory, Man United.
Hell yeah.